Coming to you live from Baldwin Wallace University. We're at George Finnie Stadium for the OAC Lacrosse game of the week. The top-ranked Baldwin Wallace Yellow Jackets, undefeated so far through OAC competition, against a very good and, frankly, one of the best teams in the history of the OAC, the Otterbein Cardinals, who are 4-1 on the season. It's a gorgeous Saturday afternoon for men's lacrosse, and we certainly appreciate that you've joined us here from Finnie Stadium. Alongside Luke Schradel, I'm Brendan Gulick. Glad to have you on board. This is a big game, not necessarily because these two teams don't like each other. I think, whenever you play a conference opponent, Luke, you've got a little extra juice, and obviously the whole schedule this year is, it's strictly conference competition, right? But this is an Otterbein team that essentially brought lacrosse to the OAC, and for the first couple of years, they were king of the castle, if you will. And now that the rest of the league has started to recruit well and catch up, the Yellow Jackets, John Carroll, Mount Union, Ohio Northern, have turned into a really competitive league. In a lot of ways, have Otterbein to thank for that. But obviously, these guys playing on the field today are certainly not part of those inaugural classes in OAC lacrosse. And looking forward to seeing how this one plays out.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Otterbein took down BW in the first four matchups between these two teams, that starting in 2014, and now you come here to see a completely different OAC. BW on a roll. Otterbein also won 4 in a row, coming in historically great and ready to bring a rivalry matchup back.
Otterbein 4-1 with an opening loss to Ohio Northern. They lost 8-7 in the first game of the season back on March 28th, but have ripped off 4 consecutive wins since then. And frankly, they were dominating wins over Wilmington and Heidelberg. They won by a combined margin of 37-2, including a shutout win against Heidelberg. And then the Muskingum and Marietta games, a little tighter, but still comfortable wins. 10-5 against Muskie, 11-5 against Marietta. On the other side, this Yellow Jacket team is awfully talented. Perhaps more so than people expected this year. Early season wins against Mount Union and John Carroll, and they have followed it up with some really impressive performances, 5-0 on the year. We'll give you the starting lineups in just a second. We are underway this afternoon. It is perfect outside. 55 degrees, partly cloudy, a little bit of wind, and it's going to continue to get warmer as the day progresses. Jackets finally pull in the game's first possession.
Nice ground ball pickup right there by Zach Kroger.
In the meantime, Otterbein trying to scoop it up. Jackets are hoping to make life complicated. And that one was shoveled to their goalkeeper, Zach Groney, the senior from St. Xavier High School down in Cincinnati. Starting lineups for the Otterbein Cardinals include a really talented attacker. Their staple up front is senior Xander Seal out of Naperville, Illinois, Greater Chicago. Mentioned Groney in net. Quinn Nicodemus, a senior midfielder. Logan French, good offensive player in his own right. He's a senior midfielder from Michigan. As the Cardinals can't handle the offensive possession there. Freshman attacker Max Graham from Bishop Watterson, locally in Columbus. Mitchell Rolfe, the senior defender from Rochester, Michigan. Lincoln Troxel is a sophomore defender from Springboro. Possession going back the other way here. Aiden Moore, Ben Lewis, and Ed Rooney round out the starters for Otterbein.
When you talk about Xander Seal, he was first team All-Illinois in high school at 2 different positions, and I think he was first team All-State at defenseman, and we see him at attack here at the collegiate level.
Jackets are on defense, and they are hoping they can come up with something impressive today. They certainly like their chances. Jackets have Joe Storner, the sophomore goalkeeper, also from St. Xavier, but a different St. Xavier. He attended St. X in Kentucky, where Groney is from St. Xavier in Cincinnati. Opening couple minutes of action, no score yet. Jackets have been on defense here the opening couple minutes. Storner deflects that one away. For BW, Nick and Jake Nanoski both in the starting lineup, along with Ethan Miller in the midfield. Matthew Rodenhouse, one of the team's best defenders. He's in there right at the outset and trying to mark up at the top of the formation here. He's just playing defense again Decatur Jackson. Gunnar McMillan, Neil Randall, Trevor Stevens, Zach Kroger, and Ethan Ratowski along with Storner. Seal couldn't back his way home. Shot clock now is at 7 seconds, so the Cardinals are running out of time here to pull the trigger. They fire it up top. Look at the defense from Rodenhouse. And the Jackets will take it on the shot clock violation. Here we go.
It was a strong defensive possession. Otterbein hasn't had a shot clock violation all year. That's their first one.
How about that as an opening statement for BW? So the Jackets bring on their offensive reinforcements, and now they settle in really for their first chance of the afternoon. A really good look and a goal. Ethan Miller beats Groney on the right side of the net. It didn't take long. The Jackets are out front.
Yeah, they catch him ball watching, and Ethan Miller cuts to the backside. He's wide open. Everybody's too focused on Zach Kroger behind the cage dodging, and they lose Ethan Miller. He pops right on top of the crease for a goal.
11:48 left in the opening quarter, and the Jackets are out front. Coverage today presented to you by Cleveland Clinic Sports Medicine. They're the official healthcare provider for BW Athletics. Also by Dan Andrews and Olympic Forest Products, a global recycling company. Jackets right at the X. This could be a day where Otterbein challenges BW. Otterbein typically has been pretty solid at the face-off X, but Baldwin Wallace thinks that's a chance that they could maybe take a little pressure off their defense today if they can play well at the X.
They're missing Keller Fisher today. He's taken a lot of draws for this team. They're going to be a little bit down with him out of the lineup, but that means Sandy Bishop gets a lot more opportunities.
Otterbein settles in with Cole Werbrick getting rolling, a sophomore from Indian Hill down in the Cincinnati area. This is Werbrick working on the left-hand side. Takes a shot, and it hits the outside of the net and rolls away.
And that's the shot that you want the offense to take there if you're the defense. The long, low-angle shot.
Four minutes in and a 1-0 lead for BW. Ethan Miller scoring early in this first quarter. Werbrick really being bothered there. So he goes back up top. Logan to his right.
He's one of their stronger downhill dodgers, a senior.
Seal. Circles around behind the cage. Flings it over his shoulder to a cutting Fenich. Almost lost possession. Shot clock expires again. How about that? After not having won all season, Luke, two of them in the opening couple possessions, the BW defense does its job, but they struggle to clear, and Otterbein won't actually have to go back and play defense here.
Yeah, the clear is going to be a key part of this game from both sides. A tough ride in this rivalry game is what you should see, and Otterbein brings it on their second ride.
Werbrick dumps it off, and the offense resets. Fenich takes a shot too tall. In fact, the Jackets now have not been able to successfully clear either of their two attempts so far in this first quarter. Good defense. Storner was able to deflect the shot, and then a sweet look from Seal. Can't light the lamp.
Almost getting too fancy there. I feel like he had an easy left-handed finish, but pass it up to make something interesting happen. I don't know if that's something you want to do not at home and in front of your home fans and in your usual environment, but they got to reset the shot clock here because it didn't start.
Well, unfortunately, we don't have any Nat sound coming for you down from the field, but that shot clock resetting is certainly what happened. Just over 9 minutes left in the first quarter as Kendrick Rogers, junior from Westerville North, tried to initiate the offense there, and it turns into a Jacket takeaway. BW has it offensively, working through Kroger. The opening 6.5 minutes of this game, BW has rarely possessed the ball, but they've made it count pretty quickly twice. Gunnar McMillan on a perfect pass caught Groney looking the wrong way, and Otterbein, for as well as they have handled their business offensively so far, milking the clock, the defense has let them down, and the Jackets take a 2-0 lead.
Yeah, they leave another guy wide open on the crease. Ball watching again. Same thing happened the first goal from Ethan Miller, but this time Nick Nanowski forces that to happen. He forces the goalie to take a peek at him and not see the guy behind him, and he was just in terrible position. Ends up making everything perfect for Gunnar McMillan on the doorstep.
Colin Hartnett has done a really, really good job at Otterbein, and frankly, there's a lot of mutual respect between these two head coaches. Trey Keeley spoke very highly before the game of Colin Hartnett. He said, you know, when I was at Ohio Wesleyan, I found myself looking at his program quite a bit and saying, okay, this is the model of how they do it and how it should be done in OAC competition. High praise for sure. Jackets have scored twice in the 3 shots they've taken. Trying to add another goal here early on. This is Kroger possessing. Good defense from Tressel. Nanowski. Nick to his right. He's got Miller open behind him. Ethan couldn't handle the pass. And the flag goes up.
It's a push. The stay BW possession. Man, Ethan Miller was wide open for a step down. If Nick Nanowski maybe saw him a little bit earlier, we would have seen a shot and maybe a goal.
Shot clock reset. We are halfway through the first quarter with the Jackets out front, 2-0. There's a low shot deflected away, and it stays on this end. It's the first of a doubleheader today. We'll have the women's game at approximately 5 o'clock here in Berea. Boy, that was a sloppy, uncharacteristic mistake from freshman Zach Kroger. Here come the Cardinals. Tobler cleared that pretty easily. Longstick is trying to find some help. That's a bit sloppy there from Otterbein too.
Yeah, it just feels like they're wasting the shot clock here, getting guys on, and they're not full speed here. And that's a procedure.
How about that?
Just lackluster sub game there, and BW takes advantage. That's got to be a foul.
Flag comes flying in after a pretty nasty collision.
That'll be 2 minutes locked into the head, for sure.
Kroger is back on his feet, thankfully, but unfortunately looks a little woozy.
But, hey, you take those shots because that gives you a huge advantage on the field. Now you're one man up for 2 whole minutes. Even if you score a goal, that's going to be locked in. You'll see him do the safety sign, just like in football, to lock that penalty in. But they decide to go with the 1 minute. I'm not sure if I agree with that call, so there'll be one man, 1 minute up here.
6:35 left in the opening quarter. Jackets lead it 2-0, and we have our first man-up opportunity of the afternoon. Jake Nanowski out there. Jake gets it right back as they work around the perimeter. Fires to his brother Nick. Miller. Olin Ferguson takes a shot too high.
And that's the shot they were looking for right there. I mean, that almost looked identical to the same shot he had against Ohio Northern last game out. He stung that one in the top right corner. That one misses wide right.
Still plenty of time. Ferguson, I think he thought about shooting it before he actually had possession. The ball ricocheted into McMillan, who didn't get what he wanted on the shot and made a fairly easy save for Groney.
Yeah, he went stick side high there off the sidearm. Didn't really change planes too well, right into the goalie stick for a save.
Well, so far, if you're an Otterbein Cardinals fan, considering the score is 2-0 in favor of BW, you're probably taking a big deep breath at the moment because this game feels like it could be significantly worse. Otterbein has dominated possession, although they really have only had 2 good looks, I would say. They had 1 shot technically on goal and a second that was not far away. Here's a good chance brewing, but the shot goes well wide right from Ben Lewis.
Looks like they're really trying to control the pace of this game. Coach Keeley likes his teams playing fast. They haven't been able to get out in transition as much with these shot clock violations and them holding the ball.
Kroger called for the push. And BW's been a little sloppy right now, and especially in some of their longer passes. Gonna try to tighten that up. Same chance maybe for Lewis, denied. Logan takes the left side shot, no good. Scramble for the ground ball, and it's picked up by BW. The shot clock was expiring there, but no big deal.
Here's a transition opportunity.
How quickly could BW take advantage as Kroger finds Jake Nanoski with a flag in. Jake rattles one off the pole. It was a little extracurricular activity there, but it wasn't too violent.
I think we're going to see another Cardinal in the box.
Looks like the penalty here is on Lincoln Tressel, former Springboro Panther, down just south of Dayton.
Another 1-minute EMO for the man-up offense here. He had some good looks last time. Got to put one in the back of the net here.
Yeah, especially frustrating that last time didn't work out with a goal. See if the Jackets can step on one. The Nanoski brothers trading passes. McMillan trying to find his way into the crease. Instead, it's Ferguson wide open. Takes it and fires high and right. Olin can really let it rip. Flings it across. Jake to his left. Ferguson again. Shoots and saved.
He just didn't have enough time to get the power he wanted on that shot. And also stick side high, so easy save.
Jackets try to ride a little bit here. 3:23 and counting first quarter. Baldwin Wallace leads 2-0 on goals from Ethan Miller and Gunnar McMillan. McMillan scored his 14th of the year. Ethan Miller had his 3rd goal of the season.
Able to get the offensive midfielder unstuck from the defense there. Ethan Miller, the midfielder stuck on defense. They get Jimmy Brown on here for a little short stick defense.
Warbrick trying to spin around the defense. The Jackets do a good job of jarring it free.
Great slide there by Ratowski. Gets a nice check and a cause turnover.
Neil Randall picked it up. I'll tell you what, the physicality in this first quarter has been certainly a big part on both sides. Noah Bartos lost his footing and lost his stick.
It's a procedure since the ball stayed in his stick. Otterbein ball anyways.
Final 2 minutes of this first quarter coming up momentarily. We're at 2:07 when the clock stops. Otterbein calls timeout. The Cardinals are hanging tough, despite the fact they've looked out of sync throughout this first quarter. BW 2, Otterbein nothing here in Berea. All right, out of the Otterbein timeout, the Cardinals will resume with possession. 2 minutes, 7 seconds, and counting here in the first quarter. Baldwin Wallace leads by a score of 2-0. Along with Luke Schradel, I'm Brendan Gulick. Has not been a clean first period for Otterbein, that's for sure. But they are still very much in this game, and should they score here, that would do a lot for their confidence moving forward.
I like that they called a timeout and get a nice offensive possession.
Jackson was about to shoot and had it knocked out of his stick.
Yeah, on the last possession here they have in this first quarter, they haven't really gotten anything going, so I love the timeout. Get your guys all set up for this and get your best player out there, Xander Seal, number 4, a shot.
There's a goal for the Cardinals. Comes from Aiden Moore on a beautiful pass from Xander Seal. And all of a sudden, Otterbein can exhale. They've cut it to a 1-goal game, 1:33 left first period.
And defensively, you know they're going to do that, right? You know they're going to give Xander Seal a chance to make something happen. That time he does a great job of making something happen, finding a guy wide open on the crease. A little lackadaisical defense there, but, you know, it happens.
Seal and Moore have been the team's 2 most productive offensive players so far. Moore scores his 8th goal of the season. Seal his 8th assist. 2 team leaders in total points. And it's a 2-1 affair.
Great win by Bishop there.
Byerly runs it into the corner, lets the team get set, and here we go. Did he step out of bounds?
I can't believe it.
Oh my goodness. Boy, is that a sloppy mistake. The Jackets have had a couple of those now. Byerly and company get lucky on that mishandled pass. I don't mean to point it out individually, but Byer's mistake there, and Kroger essentially falling down on almost no contact at all earlier behind the cage, costing the Jackets possession. Olin Ferguson comes up with a goal, makes things a little easier to handle there, though.
Yeah, he really wanted that one. You could tell he came out there and he wanted a goal because he missed the last 3 shots, and the last 3 shots he had were almost better opportunities than the one he just had, and he does a nice job of burying that one into the bottom right corner. He was going high the last 3 shots. He wanted to try low, see if it works out this time. It does. He cashes in.
42.5 on the clock, first quarter. 3-1 BW. Offensively, Baldwin Wallace has been pretty good this season. 91 goals through their first 5 games. No push called there.
2 wins in a row for Sandy, and they've put more offensive-minded wings out there because they feel like he's going to win it, it looks like.
Jake Nanoski passes up top. Ethan Miller. Now Trevor Stevens. Back to Miller. Nanoski can't handle the pass. And the shot clock, or I should say the first quarter clock, will expire here. Well, perhaps some of that was rushing offensively to try to make something happen late in the period. But admittedly, BW has not played their best lacrosse either. Been a little sloppy on both sides. At the moment, the Jackets lead at 3-1. We'll come back with the second quarter in just a minute. Here, BWYellowJackets.com. Baldwin Wallace 3, Otterbein 1 as we open up second quarter action. Alongside Luke Schradel, I'm Brendan Gulick. Baldwin Wallace is going to have to play defense here. Apparently Sandy Bishop did something illegal there when they lined up for the face-off. So the defense goes back to work. Statistically so far this season, there hasn't been a huge difference in terms of overall success rate between BW's offense and BW's defense. Offensively, they are 15th in the country, more than 18 goals per game. Defensively, allowing just 6 per game, that's tied for 14th nationally. Winning games by an average of more than 12 goals per contest. Obviously, that's a bit inflated because of a couple of the pretty lopsided wins they've had, but still, perhaps the better offensive mark is the team's shot percentage, scoring at a 40.4% clip. As the defense does its job yet again, and here comes Declan Tubbs.
Great check by Richie Roskoff and a great ground ball by Declan Tubbs.
What a move. Jake Nanoski shoots and scores. Put it on his highlight reel.
Right through the 5-hole. Right through Zach Roan's leg. He had no chance. The nutmeg just got him there. Fading away, too. Jake's been improving so much as a player, and that is a product of it right there.
So just 1:17 into the second quarter, the Jackets take a 4-1 lead. Jackets win the face-off. They're going to try to apply a little more pressure here as Bryce Moran holds it. Nanoski. Pass toward Miller up top didn't work out well. BW able to keep it in bounds. That was a bit fortuitous. Nick Nanoski had possession and now holds with the rest of the team setting up. Still plenty of time, 50 on the shot clock.
That's an incredible play by Trevor Stevens to stop that from being a turnover.
Nick to his brother Jake. Jake had drawn quite a bit of attention, finally got rid of it. Perfect pass. Nick Nanoski shoots and bounces one home. 5-1 Jackets.
The trademark bouncer there from Nick Nanoski. He loves that lefty step-down shooting spot right there, and he always loves to find it. He's a great guy playing off the ball. That's part of the reason why he's the captain of this team. The smart bouncer finds the top left corner.
The Jackets smell blood here. They've won another face-off. Bit sloppy there in the midfield. The ball ricocheted off the referee and may have kept it in play. Ground ball rolling toward midfield, and finally a hold called that'll send it back to Otterbein.
Yeah, they just held Xander Seal on the ground there so he couldn't pick up the GB, and Otterbein possession, but a turnover right away.
Jake Nanoski cutting to the net, flings to his teammate Gunnar McMillan, who spins and rolls one home, but they've rolled it or waved it off. The music's playing, but the goal has been waved off. Now, hold on a second. Zach Groney's pretty upset. Groney will have a chance to restart play here. Apparently McMillan stepped in the crease.
It might have been after he scored that, I don't think he was in there before he took the shot, but falling away, he just fell into the crease on accident, and that's not what you want to do.
So the Jackets lead 5-1 on this sun-splashed Saturday afternoon. Cardinals trying to tighten things up a bit. Nicodemus on the attack on the right side. Chance here for more. Passing across the face of the defense. Ben Lewis shoots and scores.
Strong left-handed shot, well placed. Almost hit the bottom left pipe, and that's a great take. They're going to need a whole lot more of that.
Lewis with his 8th goal of the season. Seal, Moore, Lewis, Fenich, and Jackson are basically the 5 most frequently used offensive weapons, but a number of other guys have scored more than 1 goal on the season. But those 5 in particular seem to take a lion's share of the opportunities. Still early second quarter, and it's already been a little bit more entertaining than the first. 5-2 BW. Jake looking for some help. Tough defense. Slings it up top. Another shot and another goal. This time it's Gage Schneider who rips the back of the net.
And that's a great find off the double team. Jake Nanowski saw the double team coming. They sent it to him last time out. He recognizes it this time, finds the open man up top. And Gage Schneider, a shooter, senior shooter.
Second goal of the season for Gage Schneider, senior from Hamburg, New York. And he gives BW a 6-2 advantage. What do you like about Sandy Bishop at the face-off X?
His hands are quick. He gets to the clamp like he does right there, gets the ball under his stick, and that gives him an opportunity to go work with it. He won the last 3 right to himself, but unfortunately, wing play didn't help him out right there.
Weil finally gives it up, and Otterbein settles in. Approaching 10 minutes remaining in the first half. The Jackets lead it by 4. Lewis. Warbrick. Right back to Lewis.
I feel like he's the hot hand right now.
Well, the offense is a bit stagnant right now. Tried to pick things up. And a pretty easy takeaway. I'll tell you what, that could not be Otterbein's best effort.
Yeah, Neil saw that one coming.
Long pass up the field. Nanowski can't handle it, and a turnover.
That's why you're always thinking 2 passes ahead. Neil able to think a couple passes ahead and see that they're going to throw it right to Xander Seal, make the turnover, but couldn't clear it again. And 3 of 7 on clear so far for BW. Not looking too good.
That's definitely their weak point so far. Otterbein trying to drive right. Storner's been pretty good so far in goal. Seal. Good quick spin move to open up some shooting space. Now Lewis takes the shot, and it hits the outside of the net. No goal. Inside 9 minutes to go in the first half.
Great find by Storner to get the quick clear going.
Tubbs. Oh my goodness. What a pass. Jake Nanowski finds Jonas Aquila in an unbelievable spot. And the Jackets dunk one on Otterbein.
That was just an absolute laser right into Jonas Aquila's stick. and he slammed it home.
What a find. Just beyond the reach of Zach Groney, who is not happy with his defense at the moment. Oh, that was sweet.
Yeah, it was pretty. You don't get to see a ball go through 4 sticks like that too often.
Otterbein officially wins the face-off. Weil, Seal, shovels it into the middle. Flag comes out. Rodenhouse trying to make a really tough defensive stand there as Aiden Moore never really got a good chance.
Slash 1 minute for Matthew Rodenhouse. He'll take a knee. Send out Clay Kolke to come in for him.
Rodenhouse, the enforcer defensively at 6'4". I wouldn't run into him, would you?
No, I would not.
I was waiting for you to tell me that you have, and it wasn't very fun. Kolke at 6'5", another big body back there too.
He throws some tough slap checks.
Eight minutes to go in the first half. The Jackets lead it by a handful, 7-2. After we were tied at 1. There's a shot and score. Otterbein gets one from Quinn Nicodemus. Actually, I beg your pardon. I think I misspoke there. It was not tied at 1. It was a 2-0 lead, and then 2-1 Jackets. BW has never trailed or been tied in this game. But Nicodemus brings Otterbein a goal closer. It's 7-3 now.
They played that man up pretty interesting. The man down defense with just 4 pulls, and then they sent out Aquila to go mark up on Seal and make sure he doesn't touch the ball at all. I feel like that almost brings your defender a little bit out of play, and they really want those other guys to beat them. They don't want Xander Seal to beat them. Let's make those other 4 guys out there beat us, and they did beat them that time.
Another chance. Great defense. Ethan Miller playing from behind, knocks it away. BW flying up into the offensive end, thinking transition goal. Jake Nanoski makes it happen. He is having quite a first half.
He just got his defender leaning down towards the end line, and wow, he turned on the Jets the other way and slings one. He's been going low. Low has been what's working and what's going. You love riding the hot hand.
8-3 Baldwin Wallace. Otterbein making a few changes there defensively.
Yeah, they might want a different guy one-on-one against Jake Danowski because he is owning that island.
How about a 4-goal first half for Jake Nanoski? I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. A 2-goal, 3-assist first half for Jake. 5 points total.
And I got to say, that assist has certainly been the big highlight.
Oh, without question. So it's 8-3 BW. Kendrick Rogers wants to go to his left. Max Cott. Otterbein mishandled. They didn't lose possession, though. More back to Rogers.
This looks like third-line midfield for Otterbein. Lucky they didn't get a call right there. Bartos nicks the head there.
Asuan slings it across. Cott can't hold it. Back to BW.
Nice job cutting off the angle right there by Rodenhouse. Didn't let him get top side and forces a tough pass, and that tough pass turns into a turnover.
Well, some pressure there on Bartos. I don't think he really felt it coming. There's a certain calmness to Jake Nanoski, who's playing with quite quite a bit of aggression as he takes a low shot there. But he doesn't seem to find himself too big for the moment.
And he's a gamer, too. He almost looks different in practice than he does out here. He's got that mentality where it's just, he's more confident out here in the games, and it really shows.
Otterbein can't handle it. Picked up by Blos. Tubbs with a flag out.
Late call, but had to be made. Almost a defenseless guy there, Tubbs. Not the greatest pass, what they like to call a hospital pass. And you got lit up there.
That's not hard to envision.
Yeah, and there was a big hospital pass last year that was all over social media in the John Carroll game, and that has been a emphasis. No hospital passes. Keep our guys protected. Make sure we're not turning the ball over, but lucky they get the foul there and another man-up opportunity.
I think a few quarterbacks have thrown some hospital passes in their days. Certainly in this league. OAC football is a pretty hard-hitting league, too.
No doubt.
All right, 5:18 and counting. You know, both teams today, for whatever reason, have had some fairly routine issues, just simply passing the ball back and forth.
Yeah, as we hit 20 total turnovers, Otterbein with 11.
We've got an Otterbein injury here on the near side. Slowly getting to his feet, Nick Weil. Hope he's okay. I think he kind of slid across that black tarp.
He didn't seem too happy, and he had a couple words for Ethan Miller.
All right. 5:05 left in the first half.
We're going to get a shot clock reset here, too. So a full 80-second shot clock.
Anyways, why do you think that might be, where on both sides, even just some simple passes haven't quite connected as frequently as they should?
You know, you haven't played a game in a full week. I think that affects it. Usually they're used to playing those Wednesday games all the time, and this time they had to both wait a full week. And
another shot, another goal. Olin Ferguson glances back at his teammates. Jackets add another 9-3.
And that was the look they were looking for on the first three-man-up shots. It finally buries that time. You got to love seeing your play work in action in the game. Ethan's such a gifted passer out of this midfield. He'll rack up those assists. Another offensive-minded wing out there, Trevor Stevens.
Otterbein making a change in the face-off here. You know, I spoke with Coach Keeley before the game about not just the present, but the future of his program and how challenging recruiting might be over the last 12 months because of the pandemic. And while he certainly acknowledged the challenges associated with that and you know how frustrating it's been that maybe certain guys that they would want to bring in, you know, can't spend much time around players or go walk through dorms or have overnight visits, things like that. He said by the same token, as BW wins a controversial decision here, by the same token, he said, you know, we have such depth right now in our freshman and sophomore classes that have proven here in a you know already short season, but in a tough league, proven that they've been able to play well. He said, I'm not quite as worried about the incoming class because it feels like we've got some good pieces here in place.
You hit it right on the head there. I mean, 2 classes with 20-plus guys coming in. You got to have something special come out of those classes, and that's what he's been looking for, those building blocks to come out. And you see the 3 freshmen starting attackmen. That's been a big part of it. But the sophomore class sort of finding themselves here. You have 2 starters on the defensive unit, 3 counting the goalkeeper as well. So the freshmen and the sophomores, they're a big part of this team.
Good stick check there by Mitchell Rolfe. The Jackets eventually get it back. Shot clock resets. Byerly. Inside 4 minutes to go before halftime on a gorgeous Saturday afternoon. And a flag goes flying after Otterbein makes the save. Boy, I'll tell you what. Zach Groney doesn't let you guess about how he's thinking and feeling. He wears his emotions on his sleeves.
Very common for a lot of goalies to do that in this game. You know, you got nothing else but shots to save, and they locked that penalty in. So he'll be locked in there for 2 minutes, straight to the head, and that's a slash.
Colin Hartnett getting the explanation in front of the Otterbein bench. Otterbein's been a little sloppy in that regard. They've had several penalties here in the first half.
Although this BW man-up is 1 of 3, they have gotten amazing shots each time out. So look for them to get that Olin shot again.
Jake Nanoski can't handle the pass, but he's able to keep it in bounds. Ferguson, Nanoski dumps it over. Oh my goodness. Jake to his brother Nick, who takes a shot from a tough angle and squeezes it in an opening that I don't even think existed. Nick Nanoski makes it 10-3.
That was a heater too. And you get the defense rotating on that man-up opportunity, and you think Olin's going to take a shot, and they put so much energy onto him that he's able to get the defense rotating and get Nick a great shot in his left-handed perfect island right there. I mean, that's where he wants the ball, and he scores it.
Outstanding first half here by the Jackets as things have progressed. It certainly was not a great start. The offense was a bit slow early on, but they've settled into a nice rhythm. Now remember, the Jackets, because of that locked-in penalty, still have an advantage here. Whistle blows. I think BW got a timeout once they had gotten into the offensive end. Coach Keeley called it.
Let's get our man up organized here for BW. You know, you're 2 of 4 now. You're starting to heat up. And this is where you can really put the dagger in here in the second quarter at the end and get this team thinking about going home in the second half.
2:58 to play, 10-3 Jackets here in Berea. With 2:58 left in the first half, Baldwin Wallace leads Otterbein 10-3. Jackets still have a one-man advantage, even though they just scored that man-up goal. Otterbein with a locked-in penalty. Ferguson steps down and has a shot deflected away. Olin got hit after the shot, thought it should have been a foul. Lincoln Tressel delivered the hit. Still Jacket possession. Jake Nanoski back to Olin. Wanted to pull the trigger and didn't. Good pass across. Ethan Miller shot and a save. Now that was probably Groney's best defensive possession of the entire first half so far.
2-man down saves. That's what you really need from your goalkeeper. And he does nice with the clear. They're 6-6 on clear, so doing a nice job in that game. We're looking for a reset of the shot clock here. Looks like it just stayed at 80 when they went over.
So here we go. 2 minutes to play in the half.
If you're Otterbein here and you see Nick Nano, the offensive-minded player, stuck on defense, you want to attack him. But there's still man up here.
Asuan.
And even now.
So the penalty finally expires. That's really well defended. They're going to call a push eventually there. That gives it back to Otterbein, but good effort from sophomore Neil Randall.
Couple of nice body checks, sends his man to the ground. And that's the goal.
Minute 15 and counting here before halftime. Shot clock and quarter clock are 1 second apart. So if Otterbein wanted to work this all the way down, they could. Not sure that's the right mentality, though, when you're down 10-3. Timeout, Cardinals. 56 seconds to play, and Otterbein feeling like they need to make sure they value this possession here. So the Cardinals take a timeout. We'll step aside, too. Again, 10-3 Jackets late in the first half. All right, out of the timeout, 56 seconds left. Otterbein with possession. The shot clock and game clock are essentially the same. So we'll see what the Cardinals want to do here. Otterbein at one point trailed 2-1, but it's now 10-3.
Looks like they're going to hold. Almost stop the bleeding here in this second quarter. It's a 2-7 game in this second quarter. Dominating performance here from BW.
Seal lost it, and it stays with Otterbein. 21 seconds on the clock. Seal runs to his left. Wanted to turn, instead spun back the other way. And it goes back to BW. 9.5 to play. That can't be what Otterbein had in mind. They settle into their ride.
What a move.
Good elusive move from Declan Tubbs. 4 seconds. Ferguson gets it ahead. The shot is off in time, but saved. Baldwin Wallace does its job defensively and closes the first half on a great note. 10-3 BW. Highlight of the first half, I think, belongs to Jake Nanoski, who has 2 goals and 4 assists. And frankly, it was his most recent assist that stands out more than any other. Jonas Aquila dunked one on the left pole about halfway through the second quarter in a game that at the time made it 7-2. Nick Nanoski's goal to make it 10-3 was also pretty memorable. But, for a game, Luke, that really didn't start great, I think BW's kind of found its rhythm here and certainly in control right now.
They started to heat up on offense. And, that was led by Jake. He really got things going in this second quarter. They really didn't see anybody beating their one-on-one matchups too much. It was more of the team play that got them the goals with Gunner and Ethan hitting Zach Kroger hitting Ethan on the doorstep. Those were the first 2 goals in the first quarter, and then you started seeing more guys start to make plays, and Jake started to make things happen, and his brother builds off him so well, and that duo, they played great at ONU. They've translated it here. It looks like they can keep it rolling throughout the season.
All right, 10-3 Jackets. We'll step aside during this halftime break. In less than 10 minutes, we'll be back on the field. BW out front of Otterbein by 7 here in Berea. Ready to go for the start of the second half. Baldwin Wallace 10, Otterbein 3. Along with Luke Schradel and Brendan Gulick, the Otterbein Cardinals kind of had a frustrating afternoon. Defensively, they really didn't get off to a very good start, but they had outpossessed BW so well that the game was tight for a little while. And then all of a sudden, the Nanoski brothers started to get a little confidence and in a better rhythm. Ethan Miller played well in the first half. Gunnar McMillan played well in the first half. And BW's had a few self-inflicted mistakes, but for the most part, a much cleaner and productive second quarter have extended the Jacket lead here to 7.
You got Byerly with a short stick up top. Look for him to attack that. And they switched that off pretty fast.
Well, that's not really what the Jackets had in mind there to open up this third quarter.
Yeah, the turnover numbers weren't too good in the first half. And that's 10 now for BW.
Where can the Jackets be better here in the second half?
We talked about it, the clear. They're 7 for 11, and right now Otterbein perfect 7 for 7. So that's 2 areas of their game where they can definitely clear things up. And the turnovers, that would be the other one as well. And, keep drawing penalties from Otterbein. You've had a lot of man-up opportunities, but also you've had 210 seconds of penalty minutes. That helps your bench rest well and helps your defense a lot too.
Well, I will say this. If the Jackets are 7 of 11, that does mean they've at least successfully cleared their last 4 in a row, because at one point they were 3 of 7. How about that one? Picking it out of the air, Ethan Ratowski. And the Jackets keep possession and keep it in bounds. Aquila. Tubbs. And the clear is good.
Declan was a high school attackman at Stowe. He has a great handle on it, and he has the speed. Great defensive midfielder.
Pass across the middle got kicked. Aquila couldn't pick it up. And it found its way into Groney's stick, but a long pass up the field that didn't find its target. Oh boy. That is a bad mistake. And somehow Storner gets away with it.
And Rodenhouse and Storner just fist bumped right there. That was a nice job by Rodenhouse to not give the man there, Aiden Moore, topside. He did not want him to have any type of angle at that goal.
Otterbein trying to see if they can start catching a break along the way. Trying to force their way in there. It got deflected and pulled away by Neil Randall. Nicodemus unsuccessful in his efforts to get the offense on the board here in the third. Randall being pressured by Xander Seal. Runs around him.
Randall has definitely won that one-on-one matchup today so far.
McMillan with Ed Rooney on him. And now BW sets up. Jake Nanoski. How about that shot? Rattles off the top of the bar from Trevor Stevens. Nearly put it home.
Nanoski just draws so much attention now. He's been doing it all, so guys are going to start ball watching when he has the ball in his stick, and finds Trevor Stevens open that time.
Good work by that official to recognize the loose ball on the field and pick that up, throw it off. Kroger with a poor pass. And it cost BW. Here comes Otterbein. At least I thought. Oh, now they're going to play on. Okay, I thought maybe they had whistled it dead.
the referee here on the near side was going to get another ball that just went onto the field. So I'm not sure why things slowed down, other than the fact that he was just not ready to officiate that side yet.
Well, nobody's worse for the wear. Third quarter is 5 minutes in the rear at this point. Another chance and a topside goal. That was a little too easy for senior Nani Bailey out of Shaker Heights.
Ethan Miller, usually an offensive midfielder. He got stuck on defense there, and then he went a little bit too aggressive for the stick check. Bailey takes advantage and gets to the top side, and nice jump shot right there.
It's his first goal of the season.
Bishop has been on a roll.
Well, he loses that one. Well, at least I thought he did. Struggling to pick it up. How about that? It'll go back to BW. Trey Bialois had a chance to scoop it up and did not.
I love the size matchup here for Schulte.
Several inches and several pounds.
And that's why you see the long stick switch onto him. You see that a lot. You want to keep those short sticks in the middle guarding the crease instead of outside.
Nanoski had the right idea, sliding through the defense there, but Kroger couldn't hang on to it. 9-10 and counting, third quarter.
That just looks sloppy coming out of the stick, and those are the type of clears that you need. Albeit it's a tough pass, but now your defense is even more tired for this possession. You get another 80 seconds coming on this clock.
Baldwin Wallace working the far side, Ethan Miller. Byerly, good pass to the opposite wing. Miller back to Byerly. Jake Nanoski with a long stick on him. Byerly back up top. Shot clock's at 40. There's an open look and a good save. Well, defensively, Otterbein this year has played, in general, pretty darn well. And they've had some good moments today, but not enough of them. Need some big play here late. They don't get it there. Jackets ripping one on the far side from Parker Ruggles. That is Parker, right? The freshman?
Correct. That's his first collegiate goal.
Congratulations, Parker Ruggles out of Westfield, Indiana. He gives the Jackets an 11-4 lead.
He's had one assist this year, able to tally on his first collegiate goal there.
Sandy Bishop, well done. Ethan Miller.
They're going to call a ward there. Put his hand on the defender. That'll usually draw the call, although it didn't really look like a ward. By the definition, he has to call that one.
Otterbein can't bounce home a shot. Tried to take quick advantage. Nick Weil was denied a goal. There are some Otterbein fans yelling for an offside call. It doesn't come. I'll let you be the judge. There is a flag down at midfield, though. And as soon as Otterbein picks it up, play is whistled dead.
Yep, they're calling offsides here. You know, when you sub through that midline, things get a little bit tough as far as understanding the concepts and who needs to go, but at the end of the day, you need 6 guys on that offensive end and 6 guys on that defensive end. But they say Otterbein was offsides, and that's a one-man advantage for 30 seconds.
I thought it was the Otterbein fans that were yelling for the offside. Maybe it was the BW fans. So the foul is on Otterbein, and the Jackets have the man up. Okay. Trying to add to this 11-4 lead. Jake Nanoski off target, but stays here.
Just almost made it look too easy for him to get open there. Usually not supposed to dodge on man up.
What a pass. Ethan Miller, nice one right through the middle, and an easy finish for Nick Nanoski.
I said he was a gifted passer earlier. That's exactly what I was talking about.
Really good play. So the Yellow Jackets are way out front here with a 12-4 lead. Still time for Otterbein to try to make a comeback. We are only about halfway through this third quarter. 6:51 left in the period.
Six of 12 goals have been assisted. That's an unofficial number, but some great passing today so far from the Yellow Jackets.
Oh boy. Sandy Bishop still down. Slow to get up. It'll stay with Otterbein here, but play stops for a moment. In fact, Bishop just now getting back to his feet. Did you see what happened?
Looked like he got hit while he's on the ground, but I know he's been dealing with some foot stuff. Had a couple injuries on his foot a couple years ago as well. So,
well, what would happen if Bishop is unable to continue in the faceoff X with Fisher already out? Who's next in line?
You'd see Carson Howitt, another senior. He moved over to the faceoff position this year.
Otterbein's got it at the moment. 6:35 and counting, third quarter. Baldwin Wallace 12, Otterbein 4. Nicodemus with Aquila making life tough. Moore needs help. Can't find Seal.
The ball just kind of died in his stick right there.
Plenty of time still offensively. Not a particularly dangerous shot. Meantime, Colin Hartnett yelling out instructions from the sideline to his offense. Shot clock's at 30 seconds. Seal. Look at the way Aquila attacked that one. Ground ball finally picked up, and a flag there. That was perhaps a little retribution after getting smoked. I'm not sure that was the best decision from Logan Fenich. He got decked by Aquila, and when he returned the favor, he goes into the box.
And Aquila's check was clean, right on the numbers. The difference there, an illegal body check to the head or to the back, that'll be a 1 minute man up. Their 6 man up opportunity of the day.
I think Logan just let his emotions get the better of him there, a little frustrated. And now the Jackets will settle back in. 12-4, 5:24 left in the third. Leading scorer in the game for Baldwin Wallace is Jake Nanoski with 6 points, 2 goals and 4 assists. Jake holding here. This is Nick Nanoski to a cutting Kroger, who picks up the loose ball. Easy goal for Nick Nanoski. Came from behind the cage, caught it, and all in one motion, catch and shoot. 13-4.
He saw everybody have their eyes on his brother, and he's like, wow, I'm just going to cut wide open. No one's going to see me behind the cage, and that's exactly what happened. And we now see Carson Howitt at the face-off X like I talked about. A little bit of a different look. But wow, that was way too easy if you're Otterbein.
Howitt against freshman Max Graham, also from Bishop Watterson. Still loose on the turf. And finally, BW controls. Deep in their own end, but they control nonetheless. Mentioned Nani Bailey earlier from actually over right near John Carroll. He grew up in Shaker Heights out on the east side. There are a few Northeast Ohio guys on this Otterbein roster, but not too many of them. As Kroger cuts toward the cage, but maybe somewhat of a homecoming for Ethan Dews, freshman from Strongsville, which is all of 10 minutes from BW's campus. Trey Bialois, west side of Cleveland native. He's from Westlake. Pass comes across to Byerly. Miller has an opening and takes it too tall. Less than 4 minutes left, third quarter. Baldwin Wallace 13, Otterbein 4. Third quarter has had fewer fireworks than we saw in that first half. Teams are 2 apiece here in the third.
Little second line midfield action. John Schulte, Kyler Byerly, along with Parker Ruggles.
Schulte takes the shot, bounces it off the right post. That goes out of bounds untouched and to Otterbein. Jordan Tobler. Finds more. And Otterbein will try to set up. Cardinals look a bit fatigued at the moment. They've been a bit sluggish on both ends. Maybe these changes will help. Pass back across. A good bounced shot, but a better save. Storner was ready for Ben Lewis.
Incredible save by Joe. That puts his save percentage back up around 50%.
Storner feeling some heat after Seal made a good play there. Good effort from Jimmy Brown. Otterbein wins it. Then they try to apply some pressure. Decatur Jackson grew up right in the backyard of Ohio State at Thomas Worthington High School. Final 2 minutes of the third.
Otterbein just looks like they've lost their spark.
That's a poor mistake. I like the idea in general of trying to find a Suan on the opposite side of the goal, but I agree with you. They just look a little flat, and perhaps some of that is a reflection of the scoreboard, but it's disappointing for Otterbein because they've got plenty of talent. Pretty physical in the middle of the crease. That was good defense. Give them credit for that. But a failed clearance gives it right back to the Jackets.
And those are the silly mistakes if you're Otterbein that you have to avoid if you want to have any chance at winning this game in the fourth quarter. It's just a terrible, terrible look. Trying to pass the ball 40 yards up the midline when the guy's almost covered as well.
Final minute of the third. Kroger needs some help. Jake Nanoski wiggles his way in. Doesn't need a lot of heat behind that one. Just sort of bounces it past Zach Groney.
Have a day, Jake Nanowski. It just looks way too easy. Went through 3 guys without anybody really giving him a body check that would knock him off his line. And when you're 6'6", 215, and nobody gives you a body check worth 10 cents, you're going to score that for sure.
Well, Jake is having one of his best games of the year now. He had a 7-point game against Wilmington and an 8-point contest against Heidelberg. But he is right there in that same breath today. 3 goals, 5 assists, 8 points total. As Nanoski puts together perhaps one of the more memorable games of his career. And by the way, he's done it now in 3 quarters.
He had 4 goals and an assist last time out against ONU, the leading goal scorer in that game by far.
Final 5 seconds of the third. Flag comes in. And BW will start the fourth quarter on a penalty. Well, that's the end of 3. The Jackets lead it 14-4. And we'll let you know what the penalty is at the start of the fourth quarter. Back to Berea in just a moment, where the Yellow Jackets are having lots of fun on a Saturday afternoon. They are playing quite well against one of the top teams in the OAC, the Otterbein Cardinals. Back in a moment. Well, the fourth quarter begins without a face-off, instead with Otterbein holding possession because of the penalty called right at the end of the third on this BW side. That Jacket penalty has BW playing man down. They haven't had to do that a whole lot, frankly. Penalty was on Carson Howitt for a cross-check. So the extra man opportunity, Yowza.
That one
not what Asuan had in mind.
Yeah, they're 0 for 2 on man-up opportunities. You would love to see one go in. You almost need one to go in. And by the numbers, they should get one. But bad turnover.
Well, unfortunately, we've seen some pretty frustrating, sloppy mistakes on both sides throughout the course of the game. Otterbein calls a timeout here. That is Otterbein's 18th turnover of the afternoon. The Jackets have had their fair share too, 15 times. We'll step aside real quick during the timeout. Early fourth quarter, but the Jackets lead it by 10. Well, Otterbein called the timeout after turning it over, but it is Baldwin Wallace ball. With 14 minutes and 16 seconds left in regulation, the Jackets lead it by 10, and BW calls timeout.
A score that would interest you would be John Carroll beating Ohio Northern 15-3. BW only beat them 10-7, and it was a close game throughout, although BW took down the Blue Streaks here at home. They get to see them on a non-conference Wednesday game next week.
Yeah, Otterbein, I think their schedule is a little bit lighter than BW's is, and the Cardinals certainly have a really tough closing stretch, wrapping up the season with JCU and Mount Union back-to-back games. It should be certainly tough competitive contest, but I think just given who has to play whom twice, I think BW's schedule is turning out to be a little more challenging than Otterbein's. But you can't control that. You play who's on your schedule, and it is what it is.
Yeah, I would almost want to skip playing Wilmington and Heidelberg so they could have another chance at Mount or maybe this team again, but you play who you play, and
well, two flags fly simultaneously. Foul's going to be on Otterbein. It looked to you like maybe a hit to the head?
Yeah, I agree. I think he'll be in the box for 1 minute. I don't think they'll call that locked in. But the penalties have been a big story for Otterbein so far in this game. You know, they really haven't been able to keep their cool sometimes. 6 penalties for 300 seconds and 2 goals to show for it for BW. So just a little bit of an advantage, but that's half your scoring if you're Otterbein right now. It was locked in, and that's just even more detrimental. The mental mistakes that they've been making in this game have caused a lot of the problems. 18 turnovers, 300 seconds of penalties, no man-up scores.
The penalty officially is a cross-check. There's a good pass right into the middle, but the Jackets mishandle it, scoop it back up, and put it home. Right place, right time, Zachary Kroger. And the former Archbishop Moeller product puts it home.
Good to see Kroger get one in here. I don't think he scored against ONU either. And just make sure I'm correct on that. Nope, 5 shots without a goal against ONU. You get to have some confidence putting one in at home before you get to play Mountain again at home. Ryan Burgett this time out there to do some face-off work.
We're 2 minutes into the fourth quarter, and the Jackets have added another one. And BW wins the faceoff there as Byerly brings it into the offensive zone. Flag flies near midfield on the opposite end. Makes you wonder if Otterbein was offside.
It looked like it was going to be an easy dunk for McMillan.
He got pressured all the way back to the line. Instead, passed across and bounced home. Kroger scores twice in about 1 minute time.
That was an incredible bounce. It just snuck in that top left corner. Had some high velocity on it. Wow. 6th assist for Jake Nanowski. He's got to be getting close to a school record here, although Chad Steinwalk's had his way passing the ball.
The school records are pretty high in Yellow Jacket lacrosse because they've had some pretty darn good players here in the beginning of this program's history.
Multiple All-Americans. Chad being one of them.
Well, the 9 points is now a new career high for Jake Nanowski. And we get a brief officials timeout for an injury there to Davis Tanaka, who hops back up quickly. The 8 points against Heidelberg a couple weeks ago was previously the career high, but now 9 with that 6th assist.
Well, he should be on pace to break this 17. That's games played. I got to get the right numbers here, but he's definitely right on his way to making a lot of freshman records, as well as maybe being the freshman OAC player of the year. I could very well see him as the newcomer of the year.
Early fourth quarter, Jackets lead it by a dozen, 16-4. Ben Lewis.
Yeah, unfortunately, you'd have to hit 13 assists in a game to break Chad's record.
Yeah, I'm not sure that's going to quite happen today. What a save by Storner. In transition, Neil Randall. Long stick finds Kroger. Good work. Jake Nanowski rattles it off the crossbar. This one will stay with Randall and the Jackets. Wind is picking up quite a bit, but it's actually changed direction. It's now blowing from right to left. The wind was coming out of the north earlier, but it's made a complete change. I think that might have been kicked out of bounds by Otterbein, and it was. It'll stay with BW. Fresh clock.
Starting to rotate in some midlines that we haven't quite seen yet. Jacob Branton out there with Hunter Boehm. Gage Schneider scored in that second quarter. This line was able to give this team a boost. Multiple inside feeds there, unsuccessful.
Passed ahead to Bailey. Referencing Jake Nanowski, he was the Greater Cleveland Conference Player of the Year for the Medina Bees. That's a pretty good league with some of the bigger schools in the Greater Cleveland suburbs. Strongsville, Brunswick, Medina, Mentor, Euclid. It's usually a pretty competitive high school league across most of the different sports. And certainly Medina, over the last 20 years, as a lot more of the population in Cleveland has gone further out into the suburbs after Stoner made that stop. Back in the late 90s, Strongsville was really the up-and-coming suburb, and Medina really felt like it was out in the sticks. And now Medina is a very popular place with a huge high school, really nice athletic facilities.
5 Yellow Jackets hail from that Medina program.
Olin Ferguson put a vapor trail behind it, but misfired. Clock will roll here in just a moment from 9:20. Yeah, in fact, there's a young man to keep your eye on if you're a college football fan. The quarterback for Medina this past year, his name is Drew Aller. Drew, very, very talented, and actually just committed to play at Penn State. Medina last year in the Ohio High School football playoffs beat both St. Ed's and St. Ignatius, which does not happen very often that one school would knock off both of those two Northeast Ohio powers. But Aller pulled it off. Medina had a very good team this past year.
I've heard comparisons to Josh Allen.
He's a big kid with a rocket arm.
That's
sure.
a pretty good comparison then,
Yep.
I'd say.
Yep, for sure. So I realize it's not lacrosse related, but certainly Northeast Ohio related. And considering the Medina ties, I would imagine that somewhere along the way those guys probably know Drew or his family. Look forward to following his career in the Big Ten. Approaching halfway through this fourth quarter here. Good look up ahead to Byerly. Chance for Roscoff. Right back to Byerly. Rattles off the pole, no good. Kroger went to pick it up, but hit his stick. Rolled out of bounds. Otterbein ball. Inside 8 minutes to play. Baldwin Wallace has never trailed. They got off to a slow start. Led 3-1 after the first quarter. And it certainly was not a great first quarter offensively. But the Jackets have done a nice job forging ahead. And they have built a sizable lead. 7 goals in the second quarter certainly helped.
That 5-goal cushion they got going into halftime was so crucial for them coming out with confidence in that third quarter.
Tell you who else we probably haven't given quite enough love to is Storner. He's had a really good game between the pipes.
Once he gets a couple saves, he loves to get hot, and we saw him let a couple of easier ones go in a little bit earlier, albeit they were tough shots, but he's turned it on here in this third and fourth quarter, and that's what he usually does.
Rodenhouse. When you're a defensive guy, you got the long stick, you're flying up the middle of the field with nobody in front of you, your eyes get big, you want to take the shot, and he almost scored.
Not too many long stick goals so far. I know Bryce Moran has one. That might be the only one.
Good play by Byerly there.
Blows had a great opportunity with the long stick in transition at the end of the half.
Again, the Jackets led 3-1 after the first quarter. Well, apparently that's going back to Otterbein. I'm not sure where it was deflected out.
Obviously,
BW in the second quarter outscored the Cardinals 7-2, and in the second half here, 6-1.
I don't know if I agree with that one. The aggressive intent was there, and a lot of the times with lacrosse penalties, the intent is the main thing they're looking at, but he had numbers to numbers contact there, or stick to numbers contact, I should say, and they're going to call an illegal cross check on him.
So, Byerly headed across the way. And with a 12-point lead, Jackets will play a man down.
This man down D has held so far in this one. Only 3 opportunities, though, for Otterbein.
Another flag comes out. This time it's on Clay Kolke. Called for slashing. Trey Keeley and his staff they disagree with the call.
Yeah, I definitely disagree too. I mean, I just talked about how intent was so important when making those calls, and it looked like Kyler was coming in a bit aggressive to that check, and that's why the flag came out. But Kolke that time, he definitely did not mean to hit somebody in the head with that check.
So, 6-on-4 with 5:45 to play. Otterbein hoping they can get a good, clean look. That one hits the outside of the net. No goal. They got the shot they wanted from Xander Seal.
Now you got to kill the penalty, and nobody's attacking Neal, so he says, I'll kill the penalty.
Yeah, just kind of hang on to it.
Well, he tried to get it to the fastest guy on the team, but would have been a great idea. Just a bit too high.
All right. So another chance now for the Cardinals. Shot saved.
Fifth man is back in. Rodenhouse jogs into the crease.
That helps the defense a little bit. Good spin move. Storner saves another one. Boy, how deflating is that for Otterbein right now? Although Aquila couldn't hang on to it. Ground ball picked up by the Jackets.
Well, you make those shots 9 out of 10, and that is an impressive save right there from Joe Storner.
How about not giving up a goal in a 6-on-4?
Incredible. I mean, if your man-up defense can cause a goose egg every time like this, you're looking. Whew.
Almost crossed up Groney and nearly harmlessly went into the back of the cage.
Turnovers just adding up here.
Yeah, I think Otterbein right now is, I mean, look, you're not mentally checked out of a game, but I think they've just been kind of flat ever since that first quarter. And once the goals started piling up against them, I think the way you put it earlier is probably the best way to say it. Once they lost their spark, it's been hard for them to get it back.
They had that Xander Seal assist that gave them a goal, and I felt like they were going to get a little bit of a spark off that and maybe make a run, but BW did a nice job of shutting down and playing great on man up.
That shot was blocked on its way in.
Keaton Trout with a ground ball pickup.
And had his stick knocked out of his hands. Ferguson here. 3:25 to play.
Timeout from Coach Keeley.
Well, I think it was, but one of the referees is having a continued discussion with him. I'm not entirely sure what the nature of that chat is about, but the timeout was awarded. And so with 3:20 to play, it's BW 16, Otterbein 4. Back in a moment. Well, Jackets 16, Cardinals 4 with 3:20 to play in regulation. Outcome of the game not really in jeopardy at this point, but still some valuable minutes for a Yellow Jacket team that, yes, they're playing well, but they're also young. They've got a lot of underclassmen contributing on this team. What a play offensively. Didn't turn into a goal, but that was great passing and Keaton Trout found himself wide open in the crease. And a caused turnover. Wow, good pick. That's a tough play. McMillan made it nicely.
One of the best sticks on the team. He shows it to you right there. That's a tough pickup. The ball's coming in at 60-some miles per hour on the bounce, and you're able to pick it up first time. That's a skill you need in this game.
Parker Ruggles, who scored his first career collegiate goal earlier today, working on the right wing here. This is Keaton Trout with the ball. Back to Ruggles. He passes waywardly. This is Kyler Byerly, out of bounds. Approaching 2 minutes to play. Good move. Bailey.
How did he still have it there?
I don't know, but eventually ended up losing it. Jackets rode him pretty hard there. Meanwhile, BW makes a change in net. Samuel Lopiccolo, the freshman goalkeeper from William Mason High School, in there for the end of the game after a great day from Joe Storner. Caleb Delaney gives it up here. This is Jake Branton with 1:30 to go. Shot clock's at 45.
You just want to set up one good non-contested shot here on this possession, and you feel happy about things, especially with some guys that really haven't gotten some touches.
Well, they get it, and they make the most of it. A goal for Caleb Delaney, sophomore out of Buffalo. And Baldwin Wallace adds a 17th goal to its tally, just shy of its season average.
And that just shows you how deep this team is when you can have a couple of backups come up off the bench and your passing still looks incredible.
Now, the thing that's impressive to me is, you think about BW's season numbers, and perhaps some of the numbers in this league get inflated a little bit by a couple good teams versus bad teams. Wilmington and Muskingum really aren't very good. Heidelberg's not a great team right now either. It's been a tough year for them. And so sometimes when you win games 31-3 or 30-4, it starts to feel like you're racking up numbers that might not be, routinely, consistently going to be there. But when you're averaging 18 goals per game through 5, and you play against a program the caliber and quality of Otterbein, and you have a 17-goal performance, this should be one of BW's most prideful wins of the season so far. You might say the John Carroll win was their best at 10-9, given the quality of Carroll's program recently, but this is a big win.
Yeah, I mean, the last two times that these teams played is a combined, total margin of 3 goals in those 2 years, and it was a 15-17 game 2 years ago. 3 years ago it was 16-15, and now we've come full circle, BW with a 13-goal lead, and that's partially credit to the recruiting that Coach Keeley has done in building these freshman and sophomore classes into this team. And
Lopiccolo makes the save as time expires, and the Yellow Jackets come up with a victory. 17-4, BW's biggest margin of victory all time in the 10-game series history against Otterbein. The Jackets go to 6-0 on the season as Otterbein falls to 4-2. BW has a couple of tough ones coming up with Mount Union at home, John Carroll on the road. Those games are April 3rd and 7th. The April 3rd game will be just before the Easter holiday, April 7th just afterwards. But after the halfway mark now in the OAC competition regular season, Baldwin Wallace is off to a really impressive start with a 6-0 record. And frankly, for a young team that you weren't sure what you'd get this year, this has been a pretty darn good spring so far.
Yeah, it feels good to be on top of the conference if you're the Yellow Jacket team right now. And I think, you learn from this game and you build on being able to beat a tough conference opponent this badly. And I feel like this Otterbein team, they were out of sorts today, but BW came in and they truly dominated in that second quarter. Maybe they didn't come out and look as good as they wanted to in that first quarter, but as soon as that second quarter hit, things started clicking, and this looks like a conference-winning team to me.
Baldwin Wallace, 44 shots. Otterbein took 26. Yellow Jackets struggled a bit in their clear game, 18 of 24. Most of their unsuccessful clears came in the first half. Jackets won 15 of the 24 faceoffs. They had 31 ground balls compared to Otterbein's 23. And the Jackets converted on 3 of 7 man-up opportunities. They killed off all 4 Otterbein extra man chances, including a 6-on-4 at the end of the game. There were definitely some high points for this Jacket side as a team. Also individually, great performance by the Nanoski brothers. Nick led the way with 4 goals, but I think the player of the game, without question, Jake Nanoski, a career-high 9 points, a career-high 6 assists, 3 goals of his own. Olin Ferguson had 2 points with both scores. Zachary Kroger, a 3-point game. He had 2 goals and an assist. And goals as well for Aquila, Miller, Ruggles, Schneider, McMillan, and Delaney. So the Jackets with a 17-4 win. They go to 6-0. And Otterbein falls to 4-2 with the loss. Really enjoyed our competition this afternoon. And remember, we have another game coming up here at 5 o'clock where the Yellow Jacket ladies will play the Otterbein Cardinals in the second of 2 lacrosse games here in Berea this afternoon. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day. It's a gorgeous day in Northeast Ohio, and we'll see you again real soon. For Luke Schradel, I'm Brendan Gulick. We'll see you again next time here. Jackets a winner today.